I want to return to Hamas's warning of major repercussions after its political leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed by an airstrike. There are fears over the implications of a potential escalation in the region, with hostages still yet to be returned to their families. Dr. Sharone Lifschitz, whose mother has been freed but father remains held hostage, joins us now from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us this afternoon. I do appreciate it. Interested, if I can, for your reaction to the events of the last 24 hours or so.
You know, you wake up every day in the Middle East and there is another thing, but it's not a thing that you can certainly say bring closer the hostages. All this exchange of fires and retaliation is not necessarily bringing back the hostages. There's a history of events that we are being told bring back the hostages, but we are yet to see Israel using those events in order to reach a deal and bring back.
We heard from a government spokesperson for the Israeli government say earlier today that they were committed to a ceasefire. They were committed to freeing the hostages, including family member of yours. Do you believe there is the political will to achieve that still?
I think there's the political will, but not the political will to sacrifice what it takes in order to get there. I think that these are two different things. We all want everything, but what are we ready to give up for it? And at this moment, it doesn't seem as if the Prime Minister of Israel is ready not to introduce new conditions in order to reach a deal.
Of course, Ismail Haniyeh, one of the leaders of Hamas, and is said to be one of the people that was leading the ceasefire negotiations on the part of Hamas, fears now, I assume, that those negotiations will stall, but the duration of which they'll stall for, as yet unknown.
Yes, I don't think, you know, some people saying that Israel, both sides have the interest of showing to their own people that they are winning. So if this is the winning poster for Israel so it can reach the deal, then let it be. I have no sympathy for Ismail Haniyeh, but I do have tremendous worry for our people there. And I do believe that the only way for this horrendous situation that has been unfolding for 10 months for the people of the region, the only way to move to the next stage towards stability and security is to reach a ceasefire as part of a long-term agreement for some security agreement between moderate countries in the region.
Your parents were both taken hostage on the 7th of October. Your mother released a few weeks later. Your father has not been released from captivity in Gaza. It's now the 31st of July. How do you cope on a day-to-day basis? Are you managing to cope on a day-to-day basis?
We don't have a long-term option of collapsing because they are there and our hearts are with them and they are suffering. We do not know if my father is dead or alive, but we know some of the hostages, including British hostages, are alive and are there for, you know, as far as we know. And I think that we have to remember that these people are there and every moment of the day, at least the family of the hostages, feel their presence there. When we go back to our slaughtered communities, we are very close to them and we want them back. And until they are back, we are not going to collapse. We are going to fight for them. Because who else would do that if we would not lead the fight and remind everybody that our loved ones are there, they are held hostage, they were taken from their beds on the 7th of October, almost a year ago soon.
You mentioned there British hostages. It leads me to think of the international community, the United States in particular. What do you make of the support and the role being played by countries like the United States, countries like Qatar, in trying to find some form of resolution to this situation?
Listen, I truly thank everybody who is willing to spend their time working towards the return of the hostages, the cessation of hostilities, and long-term agreement. I think that it is clear that we will not receive all the hostages until we are agreeing to some deal and to some ceasefire. And that should be part of reaching longer security for all the people of the region. it's very tough in this region. It's very tough for the people here. We live with a lot of fear. I'm here at the moment. I'm a British citizen. There are British citizens caught in this nightmare. And I think also I would like to call on the British government here and now, the new government, to bring back the British hostages. What are they waiting for? They cannot put all the weight behind Israel and just wait for Israel to reach a deal. They themselves has the responsibility for their own citizens in the same way that they've had it with Nazarene Zadouri Ratcliffe. She was not a British citizen. She had close links. And the British government, in the end, did what it takes to bring her back to her loved ones. In the same way, the UK must now do everything, not just believe that Israel or Hamas are willing to reach this. There is a kind of tit for tat happening between two leaders, Sinwar and Netanyahu, who care more about their political survival than they care about the people of the region.
As you mentioned, as you talk there, the British Foreign Secretary David Lammy is in Qatar, and we will follow any developments from his discussions and conversations as we get them. Just finally, if I may, we've heard from the Iranian authorities saying that they will retaliate as a result of the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh. As somebody trying to go about life as best you can in Tel Aviv, and you talk about that fear earlier, do you get a sense that people are more fearful now that the conflict may come ever closer again?
Yes, it's palpable. It's palpable. But, it's palpable. The people of this region, I come from a community that live on the border of Gaza. We have been through years and years and years of bombing. We have seen the bombing of Gaza. We know what things are like. We lost so much. We fight because we don't want to lose any more.
Dr. Lifschitz, I really appreciate you sharing your time, your testimony with us. Thank you so much.